Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the last live episode of Exploring the Midwest, and I am so excited to welcome to the broadcast Matt MacLaren, the Ohio State Tourism Director. Matt, apparently we've saved the best for last.
Jody, I love to hear you say that, and thank you for having me on Exploring the Midwest.
Well, I have to actually admit, Ohio is a state that I have only passed through. It is the furthest Midwest state from me, and it's a little more than a day trip. So I'm really looking forward to the fact that we will actually be visiting in about 6 weeks. But I'm really excited to learn more about your state. As an Iowa native, I know that, there's the whole, Iowa, Ohio, Idaho kind of confusion. And the states all could not be more different. But are there any other things that you think people maybe get wrong about Ohio?
Well, it's just knowing everything that we have, and I'm so glad to hear you're going to be here in 6 weeks. I know you're going to have a wonderful trip, and you're going to want to come back because that's what we hear more than anything. When people come to Ohio, they have a great experience, and they learn that we have so much to offer. Or as we like to say in Ohio, you can find it here. We have something for everyone.
I absolutely love that slogan. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What it really means and what it says about the state?
Yeah, Ohio Find It Here is the experience. It's the joy, the happiness, the excitement of a trip to Ohio. And for so many people, it can relate to what they're looking for out of a trip. Incredible outdoor experiences. You ask what Ohio is known for. Well, we have Lake Erie, one of the Great Lakes on the north, and actually the one that has more fish than any other of the Great Lakes. So definitely perfect for that outdoor experience. We got Ohio River on the south. When you look at the city experiences, incredible cities like Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Toledo, Dayton, and my hometown of Akron, Ohio. And I know we'll have more time during this podcast to talk about each of those. And then just these wonderful events. When you look at just right now in 2021, Ohio is hosting the NFL draft in Cleveland. That happens on April 29th. We also have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions in Cleveland this year, the Pro Football Hall of Fame inductions in Canton, and then the Solheim Cup, which is only in the United States every couple of years, and that's in Toledo, Ohio this year.
So that's kind of, the big, I don't know, you call them like the four, what, epic four, is that right?
That's our 4 epic events for 2021.
And those are huge. I mean, absolutely massive. And what a way to come back after the year we had last year, right?
Right. It's exciting. And I know all of the events are planning to have the whole state, and I think the country is thinking this way too, to have a much better summer this year. I'm happy to say that the NFL draft on April 29th in Cleveland will be an in-person event. There's still restrictions in place to make sure there's social distancing, masks where needed, and the safety requirements. Been very proud of Ohio and actually very proud of our marketing. We were one of the first to show masks and social distancing in our marketing. The safety standards are there, but you're going to see a lot more in-person things happening as early as later this month.
Hallelujah. I know we're all ready to get out and do some more exploring. And you mentioned, the shoreline of Lake Erie, but you also have some other very distinct areas, the Appalachians and Amish Country, Central Plains. So Ohio's very diverse in that way.
We are, and that's what we like about Ohio Find It Here. It gives us that brand that's open enough to include everything that our state has to offer. And one of the things that makes us unique as a Midwest state, we actually have an Appalachian area. 32 of our 88 counties are considered Appalachian counties. You can find places like Marietta, right on the Ohio River, that's known for its steamboats and its steamboat races that happen every summer. You can also find places like Athens, Ohio, incredible food there. You think of so many of the farm growing, the local growing foods in the state, they end up making for some wonderful dinners, lunches, and even breakfasts at the different restaurants all across Ohio, but especially in Appalachian area. And then Chillicothe is another one of those towns that's part of Appalachia that's just had a renaissance to their downtown. And you'll find wonderful little areas all across Appalachian Ohio.
I guess when I think of the Appalachians, I almost think of them more even northeast. So to have that diversity in Ohio, but then kind of flow into the, what you think of as the central Midwestern type of plains. Just has to give people so many options, I guess, when, even your Ohio day trippers are thinking about what to do over the weekend.
It is. Well, when I grew up in Akron, Ohio, it was the Appalachian Counties that really brought my dad and my brother and I to them for golf, incredible golf courses like in Zora, Ohio. But then you're able to find the state parks. There's 75 free state parks in the state of Ohio. And I can remember the days with my mom and dad and brother where we'd go down and we'd spend the night in state park lodges like Salt Fork and hike through those gorgeous woods and see the lakes and all. It really is a great place for Ohioans to be able to get to. But then 60% of the United States population is within a day's drive. So for others to drive in and be able to experience, and right now we know that's something the consumer wants, places that they can get to by car as we're coming out of the pandemic.
And speaking of popular places to get to by car, Amish Country in Ohio. It's a hugely popular destination. And if I'm not mistaken, it is the largest Amish area in the country. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. And you'll be going to a couple of the counties, and then it's the northeastern side of the state. Holmes County, which is known for all the cabins and inns. The Inn at Honey Run is actually on our cover of our 2021 Ohio Travel Guide. Beautiful outdoor art and then incredible food. And if you go over to Tuscarawas County, which is right next to it, you'll find what they call Little Switzerland. It's this town that's part of Amish Country, where all the buildings are made to look like you're in Switzerland, and it's home to the world's largest cuckoo clock. Right, some of those unexpected things you'll find in our state. But then, as you may expect to find in Amish Country, incredible foods, incredible cheeses, the local cheeses that are there, and one that we feature on our foodie road trip is Gugasburg Swiss cheese. They were the inventors of baby Swiss, and they do it the best still. I mean, incredible cheeses in Ohio's Amish Country.
Okay, so that gives me a lot of ideas for kind of my first visit my first real visit to Ohio. And you have so many options. So if somebody's planning to make their first trek to Ohio, what do you recommend they do? Are there any must-see destinations that maybe they need to put at the top of their list, or how do people even decide?
Absolutely. So for the thrill seekers out there, Jody, I can tell you're an excitement-driven person. I'm going to give you where I would send you as a thrill seeker. We actually created a road trip called Rock and Ride. You can find it on ohio.org. It would send you to Cedar Point, the roller coaster capital of the world, right there in Sandusky on Lake Erie. Incredible roller coasters, just a wonderful, it's always ranked as one of the top amusement parks in the United States, wonderful amusement park. And then if your hair's not standing up yet, I'm going to send you over to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio, where you can learn about all the great rock and roll that's happened throughout the United States and some of its histories and ties to Cleveland as well. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then if you still need something else a little unique and a little exciting, I'm actually going to send you to jail. You're going to the Ohio State Reformatory, and that's in Mansfield, Ohio. It's actually the site of where they filmed The Shawshank Redemption, and the jail's been closed as a jail for decades. It's open as a tourist destination now, and you can go see all the famous sites where that incredible movie Shawshank Redemption was filmed. But then also, if you come during the fall, they turn it into an incredible haunted house that will scare anyone. And by the end of that trip, your hair's standing up. There's your excitement-driven one. I want to give you a family-driven one too. Maybe we can wait till later in the podcast. If you want that, I'll give you the family focus.
Oh no, give us the family trip now, because I have to tell you, just the idea of a haunted house in a penitentiary has me. The hairs on my arms are standing right now. So
they film plenty of ghost shows at that reformatory as well. But that's what's so unique, right? That's for a certain segment that would love to see that and come from all over the world to see it. Mm-hmm. And then there's those that want a little bit of a change, something a little bit different, family focused. For our family fun road trip, we'd actually send you down to another amazing amusement park, and that is Kings Island near Cincinnati. Their Camp Snoopy is always ranked as one of the top children's areas in any amusement park in the world. And then I'm sending you over to the National Museum of the United States Air Force, especially if you have boys, but even my daughters like this. I have 2 daughters in elementary school, 4 hangars full of incredible spaceships, fighter airplanes, just the history of aviation is all housed there. And it's housed in Dayton because Dayton was the home of the Wright brothers, where the creators of flight, and where many of the first test flights happened to perfect the ability to fly. And then one more that I'll give you for that family fun, incredible zoos. You'll find them in Toledo, Cleveland, Akron, and Cincinnati. But the best, well, my favorite at least, they're all incredible, is the Columbus Zoo. It's got a connection to Jack Hanna. It just has this whole African safari area where you can get up close to giraffes, not to mention the many other great areas around it to be close to manatees, monkeys, and more.
Nice. Those are a couple of really, really fun itinerary ideas. And you finished kind of by mentioning the cities. So you obviously have great cities. You mentioned them at the beginning, Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, it's all those C letters. But if people are planning more of a city break into one of those cities, what would you say are the top things to do there?
Yeah, well, let's pick a city. But before we do, know that the sporting events that you can see in Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati are really at the top of this world. There's 8 professional sports teams in Ohio, whether you want to see hockey, baseball, football, or soccer. We got it. We have it here. And basketball. Sorry, NBA with the Cleveland Cavaliers too. We have it here in Ohio. So if you're going to any of the 3 Cs, doesn't matter what time of year, there's always some major sporting event going on. I put that on your list. When you're in Cleveland, everyone grabs a picture with the Cleveland sign. It's this cool sign that the way that they do the letters kind of ties in that rock and roll theme. And it's right there on Lake Erie where you can get your photos and really have amazing views. Got to stop in the Rock Hall. There's a Great Lake Science Center there. And then even if you're there when there's not a sporting event going on, you still got to go down and see the stadiums, because the Indian Stadium, the Cavs Stadium, and the Brown Stadium are all right downtown. And there's this beautiful mall area that connects all of them. For me, for Columbus, where I call home, it's the head of state government for Ohio, and there's an incredible state house with all the history of Ohio that's contained within it, and free to go in and take tours. But then there's also Ohio State, where I went to college. And there's something about being on that campus and seeing not only the incredible stadium, but the beautiful library and just the gorgeous setup of trees and mall area and old historic buildings that make it great for viewing too. And then if you're into the arts, the short north area of Columbus has become just the most popular area. There's incredible restaurants. There's great, it got its name, it got its start because of the art galleries and the local artists that are there. Incredible collections like the Pizzuti collection that are shown off as well. But then try one of, we'd say the best local chef is known as Cameron Mitchell. Try one of the Cameron Mitchell style restaurants that can be from rooftop bars to beautiful first floors of hotels, restaurants there in the short north area of Columbus. And then you have Cincinnati right along the Ohio River. Again, the baseball stadium and football stadium are right down there in the Gateway District that has great restaurants, little retails, and then really becomes a lively place during one of the sporting events. But also Cincinnati is known for its food. And whether you're doing the Boathouse with Montgomery ribs that the sauce has become known all across the United States, or you're going over to one of the farmers markets, you're going to find some wonderful local food in Cincinnati too.
Food is always a big part of any trip. I know it's something that when we travel, kind of our rule is if we can get it at home, we don't want it here. And I know Butler County in Ohio has a donut trail. Are there any other food trails in Ohio that people might want to follow, or does Ohio have like a state food or something that you're well known for that you might want to seek out different tastes across the state and see who does it best?
Yeah. So Jody, this is going to keep you coming back. Go to ohio.org, search out our trails. You'll find over 80 trails across the state of Ohio. And by far the most known is the Butler County Donut Trail that you just mentioned. It's 12 mom and pop donut shops. Someone in Butler County figured out that we had more local donut shops than any other place in the United States. And they put the trail together. Incredible donuts. Don't try and do it all in one day. It's a lot of donuts, but it's worth going to for several stops because they taste so good. Butler County's down there in the south west part of the state near Cincinnati. The one that I would send you to, though, is a favorite of my daughters and mine, and that's the Ohio Ice Cream Trail. 20 ice cream stops all across the state of Ohio, from Young's Jersey Dairy, which is towards the Dayton area, and has a farm where you'll actually see the cows. The kids can go up and see and pet the cows. It also has miniature golf and everything else for fun there. But what they're most known for, they've been making ice cream for over 100 years, and they do a great job of it. The local made ice cream at Young's Jersey Dairy. And then potentially the one that Ohio is most known for right now, and that's Jenny's ice cream. If you're yet to try Jenny's, it's becoming known nationally. They create some incredible flavors that combine dark chocolates, and they have another that's the brambleberry that's got a blackberry crisp flavor to it and more. Those are some creative specialty ice creams at Jenny's Ice Cream you'll find all across Ohio too.
Okay, so I need to definitely hit that on my way in. But does Ohio kind of have a state food? Is there something that you would say that people, when they think of Ohio, this food comes to mind, or no?
It kind of, the Ohio's food has a Midwest feel to it. So you're going to find wonderful local meats and locally grown vegetables. The tomatoes and the corn that come in the fall are incredible. What we become really known for, though, is the pumpkin show and the shows that focus on the festivals that focus on food in the fall. The Circleville Pumpkin Show is one of the largest festivals in the state of Ohio, and you can try pumpkin everything there: pumpkin pancakes, pumpkin cookies, and my favorite, pumpkin pie.
When is that? Because I probably need to come back for that.
Yeah, that's right. That's in the early fall every year, and you can find the exact dates for 2021 on ohio.org.
So you've given us so many reasons to come to Ohio, but are there any, I don't know, unexpected things that you might not know about Ohio or that are in Ohio that might bring people who like certain, I don't know, vehicles maybe?
Yeah, especially this time of year. You see so many people driving around in a Jeep, and even if it's their first trip to Ohio, that Jeep has been here before, made in Toledo, Ohio, all the Jeeps. And that's an incredible thing that we certainly take pride in. Also, some of the things you'll find, some of the unique things that you'll find across the state, the GE plants here that make airplane engines, and all the footballs for the NFL are created at the Wilson Football Factory and Ada, and they do tours as well. We really have a heritage on the manufacturing side that still flows right over into so many of the tourism things that people like to do.
But, you know, and as a Jeep owner, I have to say that the Jeep tie is really fun, and I can't wait to get my Jeep back in Ohio very soon. Now, Tanya Prater has tuned in, and Tanya actually is in Ohio, and she has a Day Trips in Ohio group and website, and she says, I love Ohio state parks, stayed in many. I'm looking forward to exploring more this summer. Can you tell us a little bit more about Ohio state parks and kind of the experiences people might find?
Absolutely. The most popular park in the state is the Hocking Hills, and it's been ranked as the top state park in the United States. It has incredible waterfalls and caves. Old Man's Cave is one of the main areas that people go to. The little inns and cabins that are all around it are what becomes so popular lately. In fact, that's one of those that you probably want to plan out a couple of months because it's filling up quickly in that Hocking Hills area of the state, and that's south of Columbus by about an hour. You'll also find what my family enjoys, all these ledges, all these cliffs. Nelson Kennedy Ledges State Park in the northeast side of the state has where you can walk through caverns, and there's rock formations that are 4 or 5 stories tall, and you're going through both on top of them and below them. It's just an incredible experience, and that's Nelson Kennedy Ledges State Park in northeast Ohio. And then when you get out into the northwest side of the state, it's a much flatter area, and it's along Lake Erie. When you get to the real north, the Toledo, the Sandusky area, Maumee Bay State Park is incredible and known for bird watching, especially this time of year. The migration of birds, many of them that are going to Canada, they stop along Lake Erie on the Ohio side before making that flight over the lake, and people come from all over the world to watch warblers and other incredible birds right there at Maumee Bay State Park.
Now, one thing that people might not associate with Ohio, but that you have plenty of is islands.
We do. The Lake Erie lends to us a very fun island that's known for its restaurants and its live music and good time, and that's Put-in Bay on South Bass Island. Then there's also a little more casual, a very enjoyable Kelly's Island that has some incredible beaches, right? People don't often think about islands and beaches in Ohio, but we have it right there along Lake Erie. And you can take the Jet Express, is a giant catamaran boat that you can pay to get on, and that'll take you to Put-in Bay Island or Kelly's Island. And you can go from Port Clinton or Sandusky, and it's a great fun experience that I know my family looks to do at least once every year.
You know, just talking to you makes me realize how much more effort I should have been making in the past to get to Ohio. And the fact that I'm probably going to, like you said, return and return and return again. Ohio has a very robust website. It's very easy to explore by category, by interest, by location. And of course, people can view the current Ohio travel guide, and they can also order a print copy online at ohio.org. So can you tell people a little bit more about what they're going to find at the website and things they might want to click through on?
Yeah, thanks, Jody. I certainly encourage you to go to ohio.org and order a free 2021 Ohio travel guide. It'll show you art road trips. It'll have more details on the food and on our state parks that we've talked about here and really help you plan that next trip. Also at ohio.org, you'll find a link through to our road trips. We talked about a few here, but there's 10 perfect road trips listed at ohio.org. Everything from our scenic route road trip to that rock and ride we talked about to a new Charming Towns road trip that'll take you through the best rural areas in the state. Also at ohio.org, you're going to find information about some of the events we have coming up, including 6 professional golf events happening between May and August. The end of August in Ohio starts with the Memorial Tournament in Columbus and ends with the Solheim Cup in Toledo. You'll find more information about that on ohio.org. Really thousands of things to do in Ohio. You can find it here. We look forward to having everyone who's watching the podcast go to ohio.org to plan their next Ohio trip.
Matt, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I am so glad I had the opportunity to talk with you and hear more about Ohio. I can't wait to visit.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show, and you're welcome anytime and over again, Jody.